All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I've been creating a series of video presentations that are based off of the Mozilla Developer Network Learn Web Development series. And we're into the talking about forms. And this is the first section, creating our first form. This is what we want to create. All right. So this is what I'm going to create for you. I'm not going to put any CSS in it. I'm not going to do any formatting, so it's going to look ugly as heck. But, all right, it should work if nothing else. All right. So I've come in here and let's see, where am I? I've got this, which is basically just going to start up a form for us. All right. So let me save this, and I will save it on the desktop as my first form.html. Normally I would have it as something else, but that's it. So my first form, and I'm just going to put in here my first form. All right, so there it is. All right, and let's see. I'm just going to basically do this part of it that you see right in here. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create a form. So you create forms using form tags. All right. And when you do, you typically add more stuff in here, such as I might want to add an ID. I may not. It doesn't really matter, but I'll just call this my form. All right. And I'm going to say, let's see, action equals, and that's what do I want to have happen when you click the submit button on the form. Well, I don't want anything to happen now because we haven't gotten to that point yet. All right. And I'm also going to say here method equals, and we'll put in here post. We're going to get into all this stuff. So if it doesn't make sense to you, please don't let it bother you at all. Okay. All right. And again, we want to create this. So we've got a name, an email, and a message. All right. So I'm going to put in here label. Whoops. For equals name, and we'll put in here just name. All right, then we'll have an input type equal text, ID equal name, and I think I'll just leave it like that. And we'll put in a line break afterward. All right, then I'm going to copy these two lines. I guess 3 lines. And here I'm going to put in email. Email. The type will be email. And the ID will be email. So what else do we have in here? And we've got a thing that says message and then a button that says send your message. Okay. ID equals message. All right, I'm going to grab my label from right here and I'm going to copy it there, but I will change that to message and message. And again, we'll put a blank line after this, or BR. We might have to put in some more BR tags. In fact, let's put in a couple right away. Just trying to make this look a little bit presentable. It's going to look very bad because there's been no styling added to it whatsoever. All right, and finally we'll have, let's see. Input type equals submit. ID equals submit. Value equals, and what is it we were supposed to put in there? Send your message. Now, basically, I'm done. with what I wanted to do here. And it's not going to be a pretty form. It's not going to be super functional. But I just wanted to show you that in the end about how easy it is to create a form here. So that's it. We've got somewhere in here my first form, and there it is. Now, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look terrible. All right, looks like I could have widened that out a little bit more, but you'll notice if you look at it, it does resemble what we have here. All right, I will be kind of nice to have these line up, so I will, for columns, let's try making it 25 instead of 15 and see what that does. Okay, be back in just a sec. All right, somebody was at the door there. So that's a little bit too big. So let's cut it down to about 20. Like I said, I'm just trying to make it look presentable, and it doesn't look terrible the way it is. There. All right, so that's what we've got. And again, I'm not claiming this is fantastic or anything else, but at least that gets us started. Okay, now, why did I even do that? Well, I'm going to go back now and I'm going to explain everything, but I wanted you to see, for lack of better words, I wanted you to see the output of this. All right? So as it says, the very first article provides you with your first experience for creating a web form, including the design, the implementation, all right, adding some simple styling with CSS, which we'll get to in a bit, and describing how data is sent to a server. So, web forms, typically almost any site has a web form. Anytime you want to be able to retrieve information from someone and potentially use it for something, you will end up using a form. All right, as it says, forms allow users to enter data, which is usually sent to a web server for processing and storage. All right. A web form's HTML is made up of one or more form controls. Yes, sometimes they're known as widgets. All right, so we're going to be creating a form. Form controls can be programmed to enforce specific formats. And I didn't show you this, but I believe it or not, I actually put a little bit of that in there without doing anything special. What do I mean? Well, let's go back to this example. All right, this could, I can put my name in there. But if I come in here, notice it's smart enough that it's expecting there to be an email. But what if I don't put anything in there and I click this? All right. It looks like it's trying to submit it anyway, but I didn't think it would. But let's put it in there and let's see what happens if we can put in, how about Jeff? What if I put in hello right there? See that? It is smart enough that there is some built-in. This is one of those HTML5 controls that we'll talk about later. But it knows that this is not a validly formed email address. Now I could type in hello at goodbye.com. And it doesn't matter if there is absolutely no valid email address as hello@goodbye.com. All it's looking for was this a decently formed email. So if I click send your message, boom, it's been sent. Now we're off into purgatory or into Netherland, it doesn't matter. But the point is that worked. All right. So before you start coding, it's nice to step back and think about your form. You should design it ahead of time. All right. One of the key or hot things in the world of web today is UX. UX stands for user experience. That's not user interface. All right. What you want to do is you want to take the experience for your end user and make it as good for them as possible. When I say as good for them, I mean what they work on should be intuitive. What they work on should be simple and easy to understand. So designing forms is an important step when you're building a site or an application. It says it's beyond the scope of this article, but they've got other articles and they reference some of them here. So they're going to build a simple contact form here. All right, as it says, it'll have 3 fields in here. one for the name, one for the email, one for the message, and one for the button. Now it's a little more than that. They actually have a little framing around here, which I didn't put in. I'm not going to get into that right now, with its own little heading. These three things that are here are all referred to as labels. They describe what's in these text boxes or text areas. This is a text box, and I put its input type as text, meaning it can hold virtually anything. This is a text box, but I put its input type as email. That's why when I had the email and I put it in there and malformed it, when I just put hello, I got the message. This is not a text box. This is called a text area. And it's designed, as you can see, for multiple line input. And finally, this is a button. Now their button, they rounded it by using some stuff. It's no big thing. All right. All right. So they're telling us to go in here and start on this. So I am going to follow their template. I just wanted to show you, using my own stuff that was in here, exactly what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. All right. So I think this is actually a good place to stop. So we'll stop at this active learning thing. We'll pick it up there in the next lecture.